The film begins by showing a man named Lorino in a church, seeking to confess his sins to a priest. Lorino shares his torment about his past, recalling when he was 14 years old and how he killed a person for the first time. Fearing his sins may never be forgiven by God, he admits that experiencing the act of stabbing someone provided a profoundly different sensation than shooting from a distance. The directness of hearing the skin tear and feeling the victim's suffering before they died left a deep impression on him. Lorino then poses a provocative question to the priest, inquiring whether all sinners truly suffer an eternal fire. He is curious about the reasons behind the priest's duties and is shocked when it seems Lorino knows more about him than expected. It is revealed that Lorino's actual purpose there is to kill the priest on someone's orders, highlighting Lorino's true identity as a feared hitman in the criminal world. The story continues with Lorino embarking on a long and exhausting journey to Thailand, where he meets Seton, an old professional acquaintance living in seclusion in the middle of a forest. Lorino visits Seton to take on a new job, where he has been hired to eliminate several people. During their conversation, Lorino also expresses his intention to retire from his life as a hitman. After completing the job because he wants to enjoy life before he dies, Lorino is about to learn the names of his targets when Seton shares a story about a wealthy man in his 60s who fell in love with a younger woman. One day, the man was found dead after falling from the 15th floor of his apartment. The police closed the case as a suicide due to a lack of evidence. However, his daughter did not believe her father committed suicide, so she traveled to Thailand and found her father's girlfriend living in his apartment with a new lover. The ex-girlfriend named Nil and her new partner, Tara, are not ordinary people. They are extremely dangerous, controlling almost the entire drug trade, human trafficking, and illegal fight clubs in Thailand. This man is virtually untouchable by the law and could be considered the king of Thailand's underworld. Seton reveals that the primary targets are Nil and Tar, warning Lorino to be cautious as this might be the most challenging job he's ever accepted. Elsewhere, a man is seen being tortured by several people. The leader of the torturers is Tar. Tar is forcing the man to sign a deal to transfer his land and building to Tar's ownership.
No!
Despite his initial refusal, the continued torture eventually forces the man to sign the agreement. Before they ultimately kill him, we see Lorino strolling through the streets of Thailand, heading towards a nightclub. Inside, while enjoying the music and alcohol, Lorino is also keeping an eye on his target, Nil. As Nil is out on the street, Lorino approaches her, offering to take her home. Initially, Nil refuses the offer, not wanting her boyfriend to find out, but Somsak, the man Seton assigned to assist Lorino, convinces her by saying that Lorino is very wealthy and would pay her any amount she asks for.
อย่าคิดเยอะวันนี้น้องโชคดีมากเลยนะฝรั่งคนเนี้ยโคตรรวยเลย
Lorino then offers her 10,000 baht to spend the night with him. They all end up at Nil's place, where Lorino helps a very drunk Nil to her room. While Lorino is in the bathroom, Nil accidentally finds a photo of herself that had fallen out of the pocket of Lorino's jacket. Nil screams for help, frightened by what might happen to her upon discovering the photo. Suddenly, Vijay, Tar's trusted right-hand man, known for always keeping an eye on Nil wherever she goes, appears before them. A fight ensues, but despite Bijan's physical superiority, Lorino is not an ordinary man to be easily defeated. Lorino manages to kill Bijan, who attempted to kill him. Lorino then contacts Somsak, asking for an immediate pickup. Once they reach Somsak's house, Somsak tells him to rest there for a while before they leave again. Curious about the events, Somsak inquires what exactly happened. Lorino explains that the woman they were targeting managed to escape from her home, and a giant man attacked him. Somsak is shocked by this news, realizing they might soon face even greater trouble. Nil, having escaped from her home, is now at Tar's place. Tar is furious, questioning how all of this could have happened and why there was a man at his home. Nil explains that she was very drunk, and a man insisted on taking her home but then tried to assault her. Vadim, also present, is puzzled by how Bijan could die in a one-on-one fight, as it usually takes many people just to defeat him. However, if Bijan has indeed been killed by the man who was with Nil, they must be cautious. Tar then orders Vadim to locate the man and gather some information from Nil's house, also bringing Nil along with him. When they all arrive at the house, Vadim attempts to enter, but the door is sealed off by the police already present there. A child, who has been watching them, arouses Vadim's suspicion. Vadim then questions the child about any incidents at the house, showing a photo on his phone which turns out to be of Somsak. Recognizing Somsak in the photo reveals that the man they're dealing with is not just an ordinary driver, and they figure out where to start their search for him.
I think we know him. He is a fighter, not a tuk-tuk driver.
That night, Lorno invites Somsak to meet an old friend on the rooftop of a building where an illegal fight is taking place. Lorno is confident that this friend can be relied upon in his effort to find Tar, as the friend is well connected with influential and dangerous people throughout Thailand. Despite being surprised by Lorino's presence after a long time, Paul invites Lorino to his private home for drinks and a catch-up. Lorno tells Paul that he is not there for a vacation but for one last job before deciding to retire. He inquires whether Paul can help him find Tar, as this man is related to his final job. Paul seems to be hiding something from Lorino and only mentions that he has seen him but does not know him. However, as an old friend, Paul promises to try to gather information about the man, despite admitting it might be difficult. After taking Lorino back to his hotel, Somsak returns home only to be shocked to find his grandmother dead, a victim of Tar's men, who then attack Somsak. Although Somsak manages to defeat the 3 assailants, he sustains injuries in the fight. To his surprise, Vadim and others are also present. Somsak attempts to fight them, but Vadim proves to be a formidable opponent not easily defeated by Somsak. Somsak is taken to Tar's headquarters, where Tar interrogates him about the man who attacked his lover. Despite Somsak claiming ignorance and not knowing the man, Tar, unsatisfied with the response and Somsak's silence, continues to torture him. Pading then uses his phone to find the last call made and connects with Lorino. Tar, furious, warns Lorino that he will hunt him down and make him watch as he kills his friend. Vadim, with Somsak still alive, intends to kill him by drowning him in a river. Fortunately, Somsak manages to escape from the sack and swims to the surface. He then seeks help by stopping a passing motorcyclist and heads to the hotel where Lorino is staying. Upon arrival, Lorino tries to tend to Somsak, who is severely injured. Somsak explains that Tar's men attacked his home, killing his grandmother. Outnumbered, he lost the fight, and they took him to their headquarters, attempting to drown him. Fortunately, he escaped death. Hearing Somsak's story, Lorino decides they must leave immediately, as Somsak has walked into their trap, leading Tar's ruthless men straight to them. True enough, Tar's men are already at the hotel searching for them. After a shootout, Lorino heads to Paul's house to get help for Somsak. Paul orders his men to call a doctor immediately. Soon after, the doctor arrives and begins treating Somsak, examining his condition. The doctor advises them to immediately take Somsak to the hospital due to severe blood loss. Suddenly, Somsak suffers a heart attack and dies. The next day, Lorino meets with Seton and informs him of Somsak's death. Seton blames Lorino for the mistake that led to Somsak's demise, lamenting that Somsak's mother had entrusted him to Seton's care, and now he has failed to protect him. Seton decides to join forces with Lorino, intending to seek revenge for Somsak's death. Lorino is pleased to hear this and mentions they will also collaborate with Paul. Seton seems somewhat reluctant to work with Paul again due to their past job in Cambodia, but recognizes that Paul is their only option. Lorino and Seton then meet Paul on the rooftop of a building. Paul and Seton air grievances about their past, but Lorino quickly cools the tension, asking Paul to disclose the location of Tar's illegal fight. Paul reveals the venue, named the Des, guarded by a few security personnel who do not check entrance at the door. He advises attacking after the fight concludes, stressing the importance of their success as he has risked everything for this. Paul is already at the illegal fight venue and encounters Tar, who is excited about a big fight happening that night. Tar invites Paul to celebrate at a nightclub afterward, but Paul declines, feeling too old for such festivities and wanting to head home. Meanwhile, Lorino, Seton, and one of their men try to enter the building to locate Tar. They are met with resistance and gunfire, injuring Seton and killing their companion. Despite the attack, Lorino manages to defeat the assailants and searches for the fight venue, only to be told by a cleaning lady that the event ended 2 hours earlier. They realize they have been trapped by Paul and Tar, who anticipated their attack. Surrounded by enemies, Seton decides to distract them, allowing Lorino to escape safely. He urges Lorino to seek vengeance and survive by any means. Vadim's subordinate informs his boss that their target has been killed in a fiery car crash. Paul is shocked to see Lorino still alive, realizing they underestimated him and that the hunter has now become the hunted. Lorino orders someone to take him to where they are. He intends to finish what he started. After killing Tar and Nil, his next target would be the person driving him. Arriving at a nightclub where Tar is located, Paul sees an opportunity to grab Lorino's gun in an attempt to turn the tables. However, Lorino reacts swiftly, shooting Paul multiple times, resulting in Paul's death. Inside the nightclub, Lorino encounters Vadim in the hallway. Vadim soon realizes who he is facing but is still alive when Lorino attacks him from behind, leading to a fight that ends with Vadim's death. Lorino then searches for Tar, who is shocked to find out Lorino is still alive. Without wasting words, Lorino shoots, killing both Tar and Nil. Now residing in Sutton's house, Lorino is visited by a woman named Julia. It turns out Julia is the one who hired him and has come to make the final payment for avenging her father's death. Julia also expresses sorrow over Sutton's death in the line of duty. However, Lorino seems unwelcoming of Julia's presence, questioning the significance of the money to her and implying that a woman like her should fear a man like him, especially for coming alone. Julia is puzzled by Lorino's words, feeling it was her duty to come and pay him, praying daily for justice. Lorino, who doubts the existence of God, questions why God didn't stop him from committing his cruel acts, suggesting that if God were real, he would be at fault for allowing people to use his name for committing crimes. Lorino then challenges God, giving him 60 seconds to kill him, otherwise he threatens to shoot Julia. As the film nears its end, Lorino, still alive, walks through the forest looking for food. While drinking water, Lorino is suddenly shot in the head by a stray bullet from a child hunting with his father, ending his life abruptly. The end.